I'm ready. All right. The hype.
3, 2, 1.
Attention hobbyists, sports fans, and collectors nationwide and abroad. It's time to get hype. Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! About the hobby we are all a part of. Live from the Mojo Break Studios, it's Dan and Doug. Check it out. Come on! So, get hype. Be hype. This is The Hype.
The GOATs. What is going down, everybody? It's time for another episode of The Hype. We've got lots of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about 2019 baseball rookies and where you can find some of their first Bowmans, as well as what to look forward to the 2019 baseball season in terms of prospecting and who's going to kind of lead the blaze the trail for baseball products this year. We're also going to talk about redemptions. It's been a big topic this year for sports cards, especially with some things that are going on in the news about redemption. So we're going to give you our take on that, maybe offer some suggestions to the manufacturers on how they can improve on it, and anybody that has any input on that, please discuss. So it's going to be a fun show. Episode 80, representing Jerry Rice, the GOAT. You can find us on YouTube. You're probably watching us live now, so thank you for tuning in. You can also find the podcast version on iTunes. So also just did a episode with Breaker Culture, so you can check out their podcast. Phenomenal podcast. They do great reviews of products, also do pricing ladders, which is very valuable for this hobby in terms of analyzing that eBay data on some of these big rookies from the sports. Dan, what's going down, dude? Are you reading that Beckett?
I was reading 1994 Fleer Flare.
Okay.
I had that set, and
did it go up?
No, not at all.
No, it went down.
That was like the first pack that I remember that was like ultra premium card stock. It was like 75 point, high gloss. Came in like the packs were actually in little boxes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it did not go up. Should go out and get some boxes of that, though. Maybe do a little 1994 PYT style Fleer Flare.
Fleer Flare?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's that new company that's out there that's doing the bikini box breaks. Maybe you can hire them to do the Fleer Flare.
I thought about doing that myself.
Where it's just, just breasts in your face, because that's what people want when they want to watch sports cards is breasts.
I was thinking about doing no shirt breaks.
No shirt breaks? Just yourself?
Just myself.
Hairy nipples?
Hairy nip breaks.
HairyNipples.com. C-Rad, hey, are you ready for Valentine's Day, man?
Yes.
You are?
Ready.
I got to go shopping tonight.
Ready, Fred.
Oh, somebody's battery's dying. That's Dan.
Time to go.
God. I sabotaged him. I didn't want to hear his opinion today, so I had his camera not charging.
I'll fix it in a second. I think the Beckett baseball that I was reading broke it.
Probably. It's like this is old technology. I think it needs a VCR in here.
How did that happen?
It's probably not plugged in the office is probably what's going down. So
that went off too. Wow. Well, show's over.
Yeah, no more Dan.
We're done.
I'm kicking him out. We've got a lot of stuff going down today. We have more cases of rare numbers. You can see the remaining cases behind me. There was only 22 cases made. There's 18 cases left, and there's massive hits that are still in the product. We're doing 2 cases today. It's a very unique style of buyback style of break. It is random number, and all cards are numbered in the box in the cases. And we focused on all the big names. We've got lots of Ohtani, lots of Luka, lots of Kobe, Ben Simmons, all kinds of stuff in there. Got to juice up. All right. Well, Dan is in the corner wearing all black, and you can't see him right now currently on the video screen. But if you're listening to the podcast, it's fine. It's fine. We all have faces for radio here. So, Mojo Rare Numbers, and then also today and throughout the week, brand new plates and patches football, which we did a case this morning. There's a 1-on-1 plate in every box, 2 hits every box, guaranteed an autograph, and they have some beautiful on-card autos, as you can see with the Tom Brady picture. You have a chance of getting that. We're doing random team style and pick your team style today, tomorrow, and throughout the weekend. So if you're listening to this podcast on the replay, check out the site. Football is hotter than it's ever been. It's everything's going up for football. The hype for this football class has just been ridiculous. So get in on some plates and patches and chase greatness in that and Mojo Rare Numbers. So Dan's back. Dan is back. You can see his face.
Here I am.
And everybody was sad that they couldn't see his face anymore. But we'll kick off the first segment. We're going to talk about 2019 baseball rookies. Spring training's about to start. Opening day right around the corner. Some baseball products are already coming out with Series 1. So I know there's been some, hey, who's going to be the top rookie in this class? I mean, last year we had Ohtani going into this year. There was clear-cut favorites. This year, there's some guys. I compiled some lists, and I've also compared some data, so we'll go into that. And just for you guys that possibly are new collectors, so when they're a rookie, they usually already have a Bowman Chrome card as a first Bowman. So with baseball, these guys get drafted, and it could take 2, 3, 4 years for them to get up. So everybody's always hunting their first Bowmans, and then the year they become rookie, people are going after their heritage high number, their heritage real one autographs, their heritage SPs, their chromes, things like that. So I wanted to start off with a few guys that I did some research on that have been in the hobby for a little while. We've got Eloy Jimenez, who's the number 3 ranked prospect at the moment, playing for the White Sox. It's almost certain that he's going to be in the lineup. His Bowman is in 2017 Bowman baseball. He hit 22 home runs last year, and he batted over 330. But the White Sox are kind of not committing with him if he's going to start in the minors or he's going to start in the majors. So my only concern with him from a hobby perspective is have we had a big White Sox player in the last 5 or 6 years as far as a prospect that's panned out?
Yeah, I mean, I think of Moncada. And he hasn't really. I mean, he's been good, but not good for the hobby.
Right. And Abreu had a little bump for that 1 year. And I believe the second year he got hurt, but then the third year I think he hit like 30 or 40 home runs.
But he's also had a solid couple seasons.
And nobody cares.
I don't know what it is about the White Sox. Maybe they should bring back Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan was good for the hobby.
Or they could just change their name to the Birmingham Barons.
Yeah.
And they might be good.
Or if Jordan was like the coach.
Maybe.
That'd be big.
That would be big. Yeah.
That'd be big. I think C-Rad is the mixer peaking over there when we talk. It's not. Is it peaking?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it sounds like I was listening to the playback and it does sound like it's peaking. So we should probably turn that down a little bit. All right.
When in doubt, play a soundbite. But Eloy Jimenez's base, or his first Bowman, can be found in 2017 Bowman, and a recent purple sold for $494. So, but the problem with that, which a lot of collectors sway away from, is the fact that his card's on the Cubs, and he's now in the White Sox. So if you're a White Sox collector,
Chicago, all right.
If you're a White Sox collector, do you want to have a Cubs card of your guy? Is that a problem? We talk about this in other shows. Is that a problem? Would you not want an Eloy Jimenez first Bowman because he's on the Cubs?
We talk about that all the time. We talk about that with Dansby Swanson. His first prospect auto, his first Bowman Chrome, is a Diamondback. Never played for the Diamondbacks. He was traded right after getting drafted, but his first card is a Diamondback. I think you turned me down, right?
I think you turned our headphones down.
Yeah, it's I think it's peaking. I think it needs to be turned down individually on the mixer.
Go in there and I'll keep talking because
right.
I created the segment about baseball here. I got some opinions I want at the end because I'm comparing some of the prices of these guys and guys that are already established in the league. So that's a little teaser coming up in the end of this segment. Is some of these prices are pretty flooring, and it plays right into the hype of baseball cards when looking at secondary market pricing. So you got Eloy Jimenez. That's, possibility of being a slugger, possibility of killing home runs, but not getting quite the hobby love that Acuna's getting, not getting the hobby love that obviously Vladimir Guerrero's getting, but possibility of, like I said, being a stud for the White Sox. So 2017 Bowman boxes are a little pricey, but if you want to chase Eloy, that's where you would find him, and he will have White Sox autos on in Topps Chrome more than likely. Tier 1, all these releases that are going to come out in 2019. Now I think the headphones need to be turned up a little bit. But, Ben Wilson says, for me, I have zero interest in Jimenez if I was a White Sox collector. So, with Cubs on cardboard. Yeah, it's kind of like a Giants-A's thing, right? So, if the Giants somehow get, like, Jesus Luzardo, do you want an A's first Bowman of Jesus Luzardo?
We just need somebody in the farm system. I don't care.
Just need anybody. Let's get Tim Tebow.
We need somebody out there. I mean, the Giants farm system is terrible right now.
It is. It's bad. Joey Bart.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Joey Bart.
Julio Ramos.
Joey Bart is going to be, he's going to make his spring debut.
Okay, yeah.
So
probably won't make the team, but.
He won't make the team, but I could see him being a September call-up.
Watch your mouth, he says, as an A's fan. Well, I'm sure it's vice versa for you, too. We don't want to see that. You probably don't want a Santiago Casilla Giants card, and we don't want a Santiago Casilla A's card. Actually, I probably don't even want a Santiago Casilla card at all, but just for the sake of the argument here.
But you can have both. He was on both teams.
He was on both teams.
Multiple times. I think he actually had 2 stints with the A's.
He did.
1 stint with the Giants.
So now we'll jump into the guy that everybody's talking about, whose prices are insane, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's it's incredible. His first Bowman's base are averaging $1,000 for a base auto of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, the stats back it up. He had such an incredible year that some prospects said they've never seen a year as good as he had last year, which was 381, 20 home runs, and 1,073 OPS with 37 walks, 38 Ks. But 381, I mean, almost batted 400. It's crazy. So everybody's been dumping their money here is on Vladimir Guerrero. Now, my question is, back to the market. Can the Blue Jays have a number 1 prospect that everybody collects once he gets called up? What do you think?
If he's hitting 450-foot bombs, then yeah. That's all. People dig long ball, dude. That's all you need. Long balls.
I thought chicks dig the long ball.
Well, just collectors, actually.
Okay.
If you hit home runs, your cards are going to go up.
I think Dan just said all collectors are chicks.
No. Well, whatever.
I'm a chick. I collect long ball cards.
No, I mean, but if he's hitting home runs, it doesn't matter what team he plays for. That's what it comes down to.
But $1,000 for a base auto. Does that? I mean, that means.
Well, I mean, the pedigree's there. His dad's a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
I mean, his dad was one of the best players of his time.
Yeah, this one here sold 800 PSA 9. And then one sold today at $1,200 for a base auto. $1,200.
That's a 9.5
for a 9.5. Yeah, I mean the grade changed, but $400 difference. So that's why I'm averaging about $1,000. I mean, this is insane.
But when do you think he's going to make his debut? I don't think he's not going to make the team out of spring training. Is it going to be called up around May, maybe June?
You know, it's hard. I guess it depends on how well he does in spring. I mean, if he continues that pace in spring, I don't think they can not call him up. Now, I don't know about that rule where they got to pay him more, so he may sit for the first 15 days.
But if he does, he's not going to have a rookie card in any product until probably Topps update.
You don't think they're going to somehow squeeze a redemption in there or something? They probably will.
They may do. If he makes his debut, I could see them doing like a finest redemption, mystery redemption. But his true rookie card is probably not going to be until update. We have already done pre-orders for products that are about 7 months out.
Right.
Past the All-Star break. We've already done pre-orders on those, so I can't see. Those are already in print. They're already getting the content for that.
But you got to think from Topps' perspective, they need to sell products this year. And one way to sell, I mean, they don't have
they'll rely on Topps now.
Well,
they'll rely on Topps now to get content and rookie cards out into the market of Vladimir Guerrero when he gets called up.
Yeah, Mike says they have 3 weeks or so without losing a year of control. So that's what they did with Chris Bryant as well. So You got to think that Topps already has him signing some cards for them. You got to think so. You got to think that there's already like Finest or
I don't know.
something
I don't know.
signed.
I don't know from a contract standpoint he can. I don't know if he can sign rookie cards if he has not made his debut yet.
That's a question for Topps. We should ask him. Or like, for example, maybe they can see what they can do too is if they have him sign like Heritage, right? He could be at Heritage high number later. So they can probably have him sign it.
No, there's a possibility if he does make his debut. Heritage high number is a late release.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
so that would be in the ballpark of where you may start seeing some content with him. But I don't. The products are going to be coming out early, like Bowman and Inception and even Tribute for that matter. You're not going to see Vladimir Guerrero.
We'll see. I mean,
No,
from what I've heard, the Blue Jays are anxious. They have a lot of prospects.
Really, really confident with how slow the process moves and getting content pushed out. I can't see it happening. The only way I can see it happening is if he is like a mystery redemption. And those mystery redemptions are tricky. And when do those end up being a marquee rookie card for that said player? Rarely.
But looking at the rookie class, and we'll go into some more possible rookies this year, I feel like they need Vlad this year. Like, they need Vlad this year for 2019 baseball products.
Topps or Major League Baseball?
Topps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
Major League Baseball don't give an F. But I'm saying Topps.
They probably... I mean, that's another thing. I think Major League Baseball, any sport, loves the influx of young talent. Especially players as polarizing as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They have a story that they can basically keep on pushing down people's throat, and he's a Blue Jay. Right. So I mean, you got that little. He's not a Yankee. He's not a Red Sox. So
I dug into some numbers to compare to Vlad. So we're talking about first Bowman. So once again, if you're new and you haven't collected cards in a while, or this is you're just jumping back into it, first Bowman auto is generally the best card of that player, and it comes out while they're first drafted with Bowman Draft, or they're in Bowman. So I compared some of the big names over the last 5 years, and I compared their prices, and I wanted to have a discussion about this because I find it very interesting, and it plays into the name of the show, which is hype, because Vladimir Guerrero hype is insane right now. So you've got Chris Bryant, who's won a ring, his first Bowman, which
MVP.
I know is debatable because there's
MVP.
two of them, and an MVP. $300. We'll move into Kyle Tucker next, but I wanted to compare Vladimir Guerrero. Still stay on the subject of Vladimir Guerrero here. Chris Bryant, $300, has a ring. Bryce Harper, $600. These are first Bowman's base, basically. Aaron Judge, $600. Shohei Ohtani, $600 to $700. Juan Soto, $400 to $500. Ronald Acuna, $700 to $800. Buster Posey, $200. So the guys that have the guys that have rings.
Did you put Aaron Judge in there?
Aaron Judge is $600 right now for a base auto.
All right.
So
Long home runs.
Buster Posey with
no home runs.
But 3 rings.
12 homers.
So rings
12
don't
homers a year.
Rings don't matter to collectors then. That's what that
No,
tells me.
home runs matter. Home runs matter.
So your team could go 20 and 142. But
Damn,
your guy has
it's a pretty bad
but
year.
your guy has 60 home runs, and then that's who I want to
I
collect.
don't know if he's going to get 60 home runs winning 20 games.
So we're saying we don't want to collect winners is basically what I'm saying. What this data is showing me.
Right now, yeah.
Or what it's also
runs.
saying is, I don't care what you did for me in the past. I want to pay into something that could be.
Yeah.
I want to pay in for a dream.
It's the what if mentality. But it's also, dude, home runs. All those guys that you were mentioning, that the guys who are the highest market value are all guys who hit home runs. Chris Bryant, dipping. Didn't have a home. I think he hit like 14 or 18 home runs last year. Buster Posey, he didn't hit a lot of home runs last year. It's all about Aaron Judge, $600, a lot of home runs. He hit like what, 270 last year or something like that. Didn't really have that great of a year. Actually, he didn't even hit that many home runs, right?
Bryant?
No, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge had a down year. Yeah, he had a great postseason. But he was hurt. Yeah, I think he had 27, 28
But I think
home runs.
it all comes down to home runs.
But judging by this number, and those are, just to clarify, those are graded comparable autos to this Vlad Guerrero that we're showing. Wouldn't you say that if you had Vladimir Guerrero, you had that card that this guy just sold for $1,200 a day ago, you probably should sell it then, because the data show. Unless you're a diehard Blue Jay fan, you don't care.
I think there's the uncertainty. Okay, so
looking at it as an investment,
but he is going to play. I think that's look. If you bought it for $1,200, I think you're looking at as a short-term investment. I think the time to sell that, he comes in and say he hits 330, hits like maybe 8 or 9 home runs in spring training. You got to sell it at that point, because now there's even more hype. He did that against quote unquote major league talent, not guys who are in the minors.
But then you're kind of gambling on that. What if he has a bad spring? It goes down, right?
I think people who are buying it at $1,200 right now are banking on a quick flip through the spring training.
You think that $1,200 it could go up from $1,200?
I think so.
Jesus.
I think if he has a really good spring training and leads the majors in home runs for the first couple weeks of spring training, dude, you always see hype in spring training. There's always guys in the hobby who get a huge boost in market value when they have a solid spring training.
Right.
And then when they don't make the team, or they want to basically get one more year of, contract out of them, like control, then you see it start dipping down. You saw that with Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
He had a great spring training. Everybody's like, he's going to make the team,
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't make the team for about 3 weeks. And his cards, those 3 weeks, started dipping back down. And then he went back up.
Right.
I think you can always do a quick flip during spring training with some of these high value.
Well, and this
prospects.
is a time to almost not buy, because I think you're at the ultimate high. So I think this is the time to sell if you're looking to sell. Of course, we talk about buying and selling all the time on this show, but at the end of the day, there are collectors that it ends up in a collector's hand. So if you're, obviously if you're a Vladimir Guerrero fan, you might want to keep that card because that's his best card. But there's a good point in the chat too. So you're talking about the long ball, right? What about Chris Davis? Why doesn't Chris Davis sell then?
Yeah.
He hits 247 every year.
So it has to be a guy that hits home runs and hits over 300 then. So that's the other qualification.
I think you need to hit. I think you need to hit in like the 270, 280 range. I think if you're below 250, you're viewed as basically a one-trick pony. You can hit home runs. You're kind of the Adam Duns of the league, where you're a power hitter and that's it. I think your batting average needs to be somewhat in the 270, 280 range.
Well, Ben makes up gives another good point, which is full of good points today. Ben, Chris Davis' issue isn't the market; it's his age. There's not much room left to grow. Which this guy's barely 20 years old.
You look at Chris Davis and you go, does he have better years in front of him? Probably not.
No.
He's probably going to start declining. I mean, hitting 40-something home runs, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'd like a Giant player to hit 25 home runs.
Yeah, exactly. 10. Let's shoot for 10.
25.
25.
Brandon Belt's good for 18, maybe 20 if he really puts it together and plays more than like 110 games.
Another guy I forgot to even put up here was Mookie Betts, so I wanted to give you guys the data on that. So, I mean, Mookie Betts had probably one of the best seasons we've ever seen last year, won a title, and his prices on a Bowman Chrome base are $500.
Well, Mookie Betts has everything going for him.
So why doesn't he sell? Why is his $500?
But he had, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. This is a fun discussion.
I don't know, because he is a Red Sox. He came up in the Red Sox organization. He hits for power. He hits for average.
Steals bases.
He won an MVP.
Won a World Series.
I don't know. There's really no knock hobby related that you can put on Mookie Betts. I don't know.
It sounds like to me, if you're in the business,
does he not? Are the home runs that he hits, are they not far enough? No, I mean that might be a thing. It may. The home runs may need to be 450 feet.
Well, he hit 32 last year.
He hit 32.
So he hit 24 the prior year, but he batted 346. He won the batting title. So why are his cards half? So you could buy 2 Mookie. So here's a question for you guys. Would you rather have 2 Mookie Betts autos, or would you rather have 1 Vladimir Guerrero auto? And it's a serious question. I can see both sides of it. Who would you rather have? Are we saying Vladimir Guerrero is going to break Bonds' record? I mean, is Vladimir Guerrero the next coming of Jesus? Like, it's just crazy. And that's what I love about this hobby. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps the passion going. Is trying to figure out what the market is.
Again, I'm getting back to the home run thing. Is it the fact that guys have unusual power where they can hit a ball it's majestic, it goes 450 feet? Does that add value? Is literally the length of home run, does that add value? It makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
When a guy hits a home run that's like 370 feet and barely clears the wall, it's not as awesome to watch as a guy hitting a 450-foot majestic home run into the upper deck,
like what McGuire would do.
Yeah,
like and almost hit the glove.
I mean, but in those home runs, you see replays on MLB Network and ESPN over and over and over and over, where home runs that barely clear the wall, you see them once and you're done.
Yeah,
I think it has to be the length of home run. I know that's dumb, but you also look at basketball. All the rage now is shooting from 10 to 15 feet beyond the three-point arc. That's what people want to see. Like, shooting one right on the line isn't as cool anymore.
Which is crazy because you would think
it's the same
you
point
would think
value.
The dunk would be the power.
No,
like a home run. Like a dunk and a home run would be more comparable.
A guy who walks up and shoots from 10 feet beyond the arc. Now that is what people want to see.
And another thing, and I don't like to get racial here, but does race play a factor in collecting? We had some, mention in the chat, and I don't, we don't like to go down that road, but we've seen data over the years.
I wouldn't have gone down that road.
No, I'm just saying it's something to consider. If you're thinking about investing $1,000 into Vladimir Guerrero, and you look at the history of the top-selling baseball players, it's something to consider. So. I like the kid, and because we also haven't had this hot of a prospect in the Bowman era that's a son of a Hall of Famer either.
Well, look, you could,
like you brought up earlier.
The closest thing you can compare it to is Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. had a lot of hype coming out in '89.
But there was no Bowman. There was no...
There was.
The market was completely different.
Yeah, but one of the most iconic cards in the history of our industry is the '89 Upper Deck rookie card of Ken Griffey Jr. So, I mean, can we compare Vladimir Guerrero's situation to Ken Griffey Jr.'s situation?
We could. I guess we could.
Ken Griffey Sr. wasn't a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He's a good player.
Wasn't Mike Trout's dad play? Didn't Steve Trout play?
Who? You just make up a guy.
No, I thought Mike Trout. I could be wrong. I'm off the dome here.
I think it's Bob Trout.
Bob Trout. Yeah, it is. It's all built on hope, but that tells you if you're playing the investment game, you're not, so to speak, you're not keeping the cards. Like you're buying in hopes to, like a stock, and selling it when it's high. You got to sell in the first year then. If you hold on to it, you can only hope for your guy to be like Tom Brady.
You don't do the buy high, sell low technique?
Buy high, sell low. Well, sometimes I'm forced to do that, but no, I'm just saying, like Luka, you're probably better off selling now. Do you think Luka will sell? And that's for C-Rad. Do you think Luka's going to sell higher next year when Zion's out? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
So if you're trying to sell, and what a lot of people do in this hobby too is say they're in Prism. And they really like Luka, but they hit it like a gold Luka that's worth $5,000. They sell that and then just buy a Luka auto for like $300 or $400, just to hold.
Speaking of Zion, did anybody watch the Duke game last night?
Oh, where they came back from like 20?
They came back like 23. I think like Zion had like 4 fouls. He played out of his mind. I didn't know he could shoot, so he shoots threes as well, which changes the whole like game. If he can dunk the way he dunks. And he could shoot, then he's LeBron James.
I don't like him, so we'll see.
I mean,
Doug still think he's Julius Randle.
I do. I just see Julius Randle.
I
just see Julius Randle out there.
Dude, he played out of his
Ain't
mind.
nobody ever compared Julius Randle to LeBron James, bro.
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
He played out of his mind last night. So I'm buying in on the Zion hype.
The Zion hype.
You're
drinking the
Zion. Zion's gonna go to Atlanta. And you're going to have Trae Young and Zion in championships.
I don't do drugs, though. Just weed.
Waiting for that one.
Well, We'll see. But that's going to be the hype train. So is Zion. I know we're getting off on all kinds of tangents here, like we always
sorry,
do.
But you brought, dude. They came back. I think it was like they were down 23 or something like that.
So nobody in college ever come back from 20 points.
Yeah, but I think they played Louisville, and Louisville's a good team.
All right, well, that's just on the topic of hype. Zion is way more athletic than Randall in the chat. Long arms Mike says, I think you spelled Brandon Belt incorrectly when you mentioned the GOAT. It's very true. That's very true.
No, Chris Davis is the GOAT.
Chris Davis? Who? The guy from Baltimore?
The real KD of the Bay Area.
Man, Pablo Sandoval's the GOAT.
The real KD
Pablo.
of the Bay Area.
Let Pablo pitch. I saw those shirts floating around on Facebook. I'm going to never buy that. All right, so I want to move on to more baseball guys. Kyle Tucker is building some steam for the Astros, more than likely going to make the roster. The only issue with him was, and I know it's a small sample size, but he played in a couple games last year, had 64 at-bats and batted like 144. So, but obviously small sample size, but he's got a lot of power. He's playing for the right team. So he undoubtedly, this guy, we're not sure if Vladimir Guerrero is going to be in rookie cards, but Kyle Tucker will absolutely have a ton of rookie cards. So, the Astros are always contenders. They're in that weak AL West with the A's, so they're always contenders there. So they're always poised to be number one, and you got the Angels there that may threaten them this year, and the Rangers. But Kyle Tucker, so he'll be in a lot of sets. $77 for his Bowman, and you can find his first Bowman in 2015 Bowman Chrome.
And Ohtani will be back in May.
Oh, that's Bowman Chrome draft, by the way. Ohtani will be back in May. Is he going to pitch?
No.
He's going to only hit.
He won't pitch until 2020.
Okay.
But, it was kind of doom and gloom when he went down, but he'll be back as a DH, and I think that's where Ohtani should be. I don't think he should pitch anymore. I think if he's a DH, look at the small sample size we had last year when he played.
He hit, yeah.
The guy hit some home runs.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up off the cuff. So he has a Bowman Chrome hitting, and he has his first Bowman technically pitching. Does the hitting one become more valuable?
I think you want the hitting one. I think we're gonna look.
Even though it's not the first one.
No, I think you want the. And is it the hitting one is in Bowman Chrome, right? Bowman. It was a redemption, but it's live now. Bowman's the pitching one.
Bowman is the pitching one. Those ones were live out of the pack.
Yep. And then
the Bowman, the first one still sells for more, the pitching one. But you never know. There might be some room at like, I don't remember him as a pitcher. He's not pitching, so I want the hitting one.
But you could also look at it. If he ends up not pitching anymore and all his common cards that come out are him hitting and him listed as a hitter, DH, then maybe his pitching cards end up becoming the ones that are sought after because there's not as many photos of him pitching and cards listed as a pitcher.
It's a game changer.
It's a whatever.
Changing the game.
It's whatever.
So, Kyle Tucker.
Proof is in the pudding, Dan.
We haven't said that one in a while.
It's filler is what it is. It's filler.
Filler. So then some bargain guys. I got Michael Chavez, who plays for the right market. He's on the Red Sox, third baseman. You can kind of bargain him at $22, and he has a chance of getting called up if Devers doesn't perform.
Dude, that guy.
So he undoubtedly will have rookie cards. I don't personally like his auto, but he plays for the Red Sox. So.
I think if you look at his minor league stats, I think they're really good.
Yeah, he's got phenomenal stats. He's a little bit older for a prospect. I think he's like 24, 23, I want to say. I mean, he was still young, obviously, but, at a $21 for a first Bowman,
at what point, so around 24 years old for a prospect, it's kind of a make or break, right? If he doesn't put it together this year, maybe even next year, you can't really prospect him at 25, can you?
Probably not. I don't think. Is there anybody in history? I mean, Trout took like 4 years, right? But
Brian Dallimore.
He's 25.
No, he was like 35.
Ah. And his cards sell for a lot, right?
I don't even think he has a card. Remember that guy?
He's a goat.
He was called up as a third baseman for the Giants. Giants were having a tough year, and they brought up a guy who was in the minors for like 12 years.
Yeah, I remember Brian Dallimore. Didn't he hit a walk-off or something?
I don't know. I think we lost like 90 games, so.
And, yeah, Fernando Tatis is another guy we're mentioning in the chat. It's just another team I worry about, though, Padres. I mean,
the Padres are on the come-up, though.
They are.
They have a good farm system. And
KD just traded to the Pelicans. I'm just kidding.
Breaking news.
Got an update there.
Is that Harper?
I've been waiting I mean, I think every Giants fan's been waiting. Just when am I going to get that ESPN update saying Harper signs a $3 million or three
Oakland A's?
3-year, $100 million deal? But he's not going to take anything less than 7 years.
Yeah. Tatis though, he's 19, so he may or may not be called up this year. But I mean, he batted .286 last year with some decent power, 16 home runs. So another guy to kind of watch out for, and he's got the pedigree of his dad.
Where did he play? Did he play in
California
League?
He was in Double-A last year.
Oh, Double-A.
Yeah.
So he's 19. He's in Double-A.
He's in Double-A in 19.
So that's pretty quick to be that age and be in Double-A.
Yep. And he was also in FGW, whatever that means. Oh, that's that's like a Spanish or whatever league. Dominican Winter League. He played in the Dominican Winter League last year as well, along with Double-A. So he didn't have that many at-bats there. He played 23 games in the Winter League. He actually batted .263 in the Winter League, but in Double-A he batted .286. So another guy to watch out for. Kristen Stewart may be on the cusp, cheap. Orioles probably going to start the season off, but I think he's 25. So Kristen Stewart's been around, but they're touting about him being in products. And there's a lot of pitchers that I didn't even want to bring up. There's Jesus Luzardo for the A's. There's Alex Reyes, which is an interesting one. Alex Reyes had Tommy John surgery, but could be in the Cardinals rotation. Does anybody see any of these pitchers, rookie pitchers, being worth collecting? I mean, I feel like we're so far away from collecting pitchers in this hobby anymore that the last great pitcher was Clayton Kershaw.
No, I
and
mean,
Strasburg, of course.
Oh yeah, it was like Strasburg in 2010 blew up. Now, what was it about Steven Strasburg that made everybody just go crazy in the hobby for his stuff? Like what?
14 Ks in his first game.
14 Ks in his first game. Highly touted out of San Diego State. First overall pick. Makes his debut, 14 strikeouts. Can we see something like that happen again with one of these rookies? I mean, 14 strikeouts in your first game is pretty damn good, but it's not like something that can never happen again, because a lot of times those major league debuts, there's no book on them. There's no video on them. So they can usually get through the lineup a couple times because these hitters don't know what to expect.
They don't know what to expect. They don't know the movement. And, Max brings up a good point, too. He threw 100 miles an hour over it.
So that's another thing. And then in that same year, if I'm not mistaken, Aroldis Chapman.
And he hit 104.
And he hit 104, and there was a lot of buzz. And he was probably one of the second guys that you were looking at. And this was really before, because Bryce Harper had some stuff in 2010 Bowman, but it was USA. And he didn't have any autos, right? It was just the USA parallel.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, in 2011. No, 2010. You're right.
Bowman.
Yeah, USA that year.
He had a USA card. So 2010 Bowman, you were looking. The top two guys that you wanted to collect were both pitchers.
Yeah,
Steven Strasburg and Aroldis Chapman.
Yep, but Aroldis Chapman wasn't. He was in Bowman Chrome. They had his first card in Bowman,
but he didn't have an auto.
He didn't have an auto until Bowman Chrome in 2010. So yeah. So that's. It's interesting. Yeah, there hasn't really been a pitcher. Mark Appel had some buzz when he got drafted. I know you drank the Kool-Aid there with Mark Appel.
Well, I mean,
Stanford.
I mean,
but has there been what's his name won the the NLCS, the pitcher for the Cardinals, who was a highly touted prospect, Michael Wacha. He had like that little time frame of buzz when he won the MVP for the NLCS. But there really hasn't been anybody else for pitchers. I mean, is there going to be a point in this hobby where we flip-flop and we collect pitchers again? It's going to have to be a guy, it sounds like, that strikes out 10 a game and throws over 100 miles an hour.
Well, what's Hunter Green going to be? Is he a pitcher or is he going to be a hitter?
Don't know. Haven't read the book on him.
Because that's another, I mean,
Brandon McKay, too, right?
Brandon McKay. But Hunter Green was the first overall pick, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So he first overall pick, and I don't know if he's going to be a pitcher or a hitter. I don't know. Same thing with Brandon McKay. I think they have actually said that Brandon McKay they're going to focus on him being a hitter and not a pitcher.
Right.
And that's another thing. Like, you've had a couple of these prospects come up and get drafted, and you don't know what position they're going to play. You don't know if they're going to be a hitter or a pitcher.
Right. Where they're going to fall in the lineup.
Yeah.
All that stuff factors in. Max says McKay's probably going to be a hitter. And Slugger says he thinks Hunter Green was going down the pitching route. So, yeah, I mean, and then Busta says, seems like Kershaw's the best-selling pitcher. I would have to say so. Over the last 10 years of Bowman releases, it's pretty much Kershaw, and that's it.
But you also have Casey Mize last year was the first overall pick pitcher. So, I mean, you don't know. I mean, Casey Mize makes his debut in 2 years, and he has 14 strikeouts in his major league debut.
Throws a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Perfect game.
Whoa. Okay.
What if this
no hitter is okay, but perfect game. Now you're getting crazy.
You know what? That would be the ultimate hype, though. If a pitcher came out in his first ever major league game, and they probably would have a pitch count, so it probably wouldn't happen. But if they had a perfect game in their first outing and they struck out like 10 plus, that would be insane. That week of that guy is like everybody trying to chase after that guy would be crazy. So I wanted to get into something that people ask, and this is kind of more for, I guess, a little bit newbies. Also, there may be some tips as a seasoned vet, if you are, is how much are my cards worth? We get this all the time. We get this all the time in the chat. The Beckett, and I'm sorry, Beckett, you probably have some good stuff online. That to me is worthless. It means nothing to me because it's not real data. It's not a marketplace. They don't take that much data from. They say they use some market from eBay.
It's black and white.
But it comes out once a month, and if you compare the eBay data, it's not very close. So I throw this out. I mean, if you want to read it for the articles, that's cool. It's like Playboy. You can read it for the articles. But the best way is to go on eBay and look at completed listings. So we're going to show you really quickly here, and this is what we do here at MojoBreak.com is we, if somebody asks us or we have our own personal collection, we can use, for example, Luka Doncic silver. You want to look and see how much that's worth. You type that in, Luka Doncic silver, into eBay, and we're showing you on the screen here. The silvers are those rookies that say Prism on the back. They're the highly sought-after rookie cards for Luka. You'll get some fluff on there, but you can narrow it down. You hit completed listings, and that'll basically tell you kind of what the market is on your card up to date. So, you can kind of see different things. You can find your exact card. So somebody's trying to sell two of them for $5.99. You got a graded one that sold for $4.50. That was on February 13th. So a graded 9.5 Luka Doncic right now, it's about $450 card. So that's how you can find out what your card is worth in real time. Now, if you find a lot of best offers like you see here with this silver mint BGS 9, what we do is we go to a website called Watch Count, and that'll tell you what offer was accepted. So if you don't want to run your card as an auction and you want to find out how much this guy sold his card for because you have the same exact card, you can go on Watch Count. What you got to do is you got to copy the eBay item number right there, and you take it over to Watch Count, and Watch Count will tell you what offer was accepted and how much it was for. So that's a very valuable tool that took me years to find out. Somebody told me about it. I'm like, well, this is mind-blowing. So you paste the eBay item code into Watch Count, and then you hit Show Me, and then Watch Count will have the history of what the offer was accepted. So for that particular card, it was $256.51 was accepted. Well, so if you right now had a Luka Prism Silver BGS 9 and you're trying to find out if you wanted to sell it, if you weren't collecting it, you're about to sell it, that's how you find out. So that's what we use to figure out what cards are worth. Now, if you have a 101 and you're like, there's no other 101 of Brian Dawkins on the internet, well, then you look for similar players. That's what I do. I'll look up somebody that played around the same time that maybe has the same accolades. So, like, say you're looking up LaDainian Tomlinson. You can look up who's comparable to LaDainian Tomlinson running back-wise. Marshall Faulk, maybe. So you can look up Marshall Faulk and try to find similar cards or similar 101s from that same set. So if you pull an Honors 101 or a Panini 1 of 1, you can look for other 101s that came out of that set to kind of find out what gauge of value is your card. So, and this is just if you're deciding to sell. So I wouldn't use Beckett, especially on lower numbered stuff. One of ones, they're not going to price out 101s in here.
You can get a subscription for $40.
That's a good deal.
That is a pretty good deal.
It's a pretty good deal. So that eBay to me, and this is honestly our opinion. Other people may have other opinions about this, but to me, eBay is the place that tells you how much your cards are worth if you're trying to figure that out. So, and I spend way too much money on eBay on cards. So it's just a little, hey, for you guys that maybe new coming into the show, how much my card's worth. I got into a Mojo break, and I hit this card, and I don't know how much it's worth. eBay tells you the data. That's what you can go through. So, so that's what we use, and that's what you can use to find out. And we're gonna get into the segment of redemption. So let's take all that angst, build it up in the chat. Let's all hate on redemption. No, I'm just kidding. But to contribute your opinion on this, we have some ideas on how to fix redemptions as well.
Clear my throat. This is the legendary DJ Cool. Big shouts out to everybody representing MojoBreak.com. That's right. Look them up on the internet, man. MojoBreak.com. Oh.
So, redemptions, the hated word. There's been some things floating around in the media about a lawsuit about redemptions. So I figured we'd have to talk about it today. And, we all hate them. A lot of people are wondering why they're waiting so long. I mean, the main reason why people are waiting a lot of times is the athlete. Chris Bryant, he's busy. He's playing baseball. He just got married a couple years ago. He's on a honeymoon. It's off season. He's got stuff he's doing. He doesn't have time to sign cards. A lot of times he did commit to signing these cards. Topps didn't get him in time, or Panini didn't get Donovan Mitchell in on time, and now it's a redemption in the box. It sucks waiting for these. Some people have waited years. I have one back from 2012 I got. So there's been some recent, scurrying about card collectors. What can we do to fix this program? What can we do? Can we do away with redemptions? People want to do away with redemptions. Well, the problem is, if you look at products like 2018 Limited, if we do away with redemptions, there's no Saquon in there. So would you rather have no Saquon or a redemption of Saquon? Right? So what are your initial thoughts on this whole redemption? I know we've rehashed this years and years, but this is the 2019 version of redemptions here at the podcast.
Oh, redemptions. And are we going to get into expired redemptions?
Well, we can get into all of it. We've only got like 15 more minutes.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna cruise down memory lane a little bit. We're gonna talk about expired redemptions and the three major manufacturers that have redemptions in their products, right? All right. So there is and this is something that we've never understood. We've talked to every manufacturer about it. It doesn't make any sense, but there is an expiration date on every single one of these redemptions. Now, there's one manufacturer, being Topps or Panini. Sorry, Panini, that will honor it. They'll honor an expired redemption even for a product that was before when they even got into making cards. Like say if it was a playoff brand and they obtained playoff,
yeah,
they will still do what they can to honor that redemption for you or replace it. No other manufacturer does that. No other manufacturer even really cares to try to do that.
Right.
They will, if it's expired, they'll basically tell you, tough, it's expired. And again, I don't understand why they put expiration dates on it. The only thing I can think of is that they want to get
it off the books.
That content and that money off the books.
Correct.
And they don't want to basically sit here with, thousands of dollars of dead inventory just sitting there waiting for somebody to open up products that may be sitting on shelves or, in cases and storage units for decades. So you can't basically just say, I mean, what if they're not even a company at that point? They can't honor something. Say Topps sells their company to Upper Deck or something. Upper Deck isn't going to have to honor stuff that they had produced, 20 years ago. So I guess I kind of get it in that sense, but if you look at it, a lot of the expiration dates are like 3 years after the product gets released.
And I almost feel like they've gotten shorter. Like when we started in 2010, I want to say it was like 4 years.
I think,
and now it seems like it's 2.
I think they have.
It's 2 years. It's shorter.
But what do you do? I mean, like you said, you cannot release a product without one of the, marquee players, marquee rookies not in the product.
Right.
You can't release limited without Saquon Barkley. Now you could release limited without Kerryon Johnson and Kiki QT and some of the other guys who have been redemptions throughout the 2018 season.
Well, a good example of it is Flawless Basketball, which I didn't realize. There was no Frank Ntilikina autos in Flawless Basketball last year, period. There was 0. Now, I didn't really realize that. Most Knicks collectors probably were like, noticed it right away, obviously. But that means he didn't send it in, and they didn't care because he was the 15th best rookie, so it wasn't a big deal, right? If Tatum didn't send in his flawless cards, we have a big deal.
I mean, if you're still waiting on redemptions from 2011, contact Panini and get a replacement.
Well, that's what I was
try to do what you can do to clear it out.
And what I have on the screen here is an actual interaction I had with one of the manufacturers. But I wanted to point out before I talk about that is I think what really, really needs to happen, and I think it's easy to do, is I think they need to let us know, the public, the people that buy their products, what cards are redemptions in the set before it comes out. So if you really want to not wait for a Saquon Barkley auto and you want to be able to pack pull a Saquon Barkley auto, then if you knew that it's a redemption and limited, then you don't have to buy it, right? You could go into a set where he's live in and buy that. I think that needs to be known, is what cards are redemptions before the set comes out. And I don't see why that would really, sway people from buying, because if people really want that Saquon out of honors or Saquon out of plates and patches, they're going to wait for the redemption. But if you're like, oh, I'm not going to buy this because this guy's a redemption, then you should have that right to know that this isn't a redemption, not buy in and then all of a sudden find out it's a redemption, So my interaction, I sent an email, and I actually got a reply the same day. So people do say, and maybe this is on a case-by-case basis, people say they've tried to reach out to these manufacturers and they don't get replies. Well, I tried once and I got a reply same day, so I will give them that.
I'll also tell you this. Don't be a jerk. Like, you're gonna get somebody who's gonna respond to you as long as you don't act like you're entitled and a jerk about it.
Yeah, these guys get beaten down.
I understand, and you got to understand where they're coming. Their customer service, they get beaten down. They're gonna help somebody who is respectful to them, but more so than somebody who is being a jerk and saying, "Hey, like, I've been waiting for this. This isn't right. I'm gonna like blast you guys on social media. I'm gonna sue you guys. I'm gonna do this." Yeah, they're not gonna help you out. You catch more bees with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, that's a phrase. I should take that one out of my vocabulary.
That's an old one.
I didn't like that one.
That's an old one.
I didn't like that one.
Catch more bees with honey. Is that like a game changer, meat on the bone type thing for you?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you go back to the first thing. So this is the email I sent, the initial response, and I have about 12 outstanding redemptions. I had about 60 of them that they were all fulfilled since 2012, so about 48 of them were filled. I have about 15 to 12. I have one dating back to 2012. But I said, hey, I have some redemptions dating back to 2012. Can I clear them all out for one decent card? Thank you very much. The response I got from them was, right here on the next slide, was, I've gone through your redemptions. I have 2 of them, the Adrian Peterson Honors and the Jarvis Landry Honors cards. The rest we haven't got back. The overwhelming majority of your cards, which that's kind of weird, the overwhelming majority, is like he's overwhelmed, of your cards I could set up to be replaced. There was a couple that were put into the system expired. So for those, I can exchange those for Panini points. One of those cards was Khalil Mack, but I would recommend just holding on to that one and keeping it open. We are still working to try and get those cards back, and currently we have to use Beckett value on that card. Throw that.
Whoa! I was like,
use Beckett value.
Not a Benjamin.
Use Beckett value, and I just lost my train of thought because I threw that, but which is $20. So we have to use Beckett value, which is $20. So it is better in your case to just keep it open and hope it comes back. The expired cards were Marquez Wilson, Jordan Crawford, Deion Waiters. Man, I really want that Deion Waiters. Andrew Wiggins. So far, those cards we can get swapped out with Panini points. The rest I can set up to be replaced with equal value cards. If you send me 5 teams and 5 players that you collect, I can sub the rest of the cards or whatever.
And let's and I can guarantee you when they do send that, that's probably a lot of that's probably copy and paste. To be honest with you, they probably did not write that out every time. There's probably just parts that need to be put in there with the content for you specifically.
Right.
But also, when they say you send me 5 teams and players, Luka
Doncic's my favorite.
Yeah, Luka Doncic. And don't go over the list of players that are literally the most expensive.
Because that's what I'm gonna do.
No, but we've seen that a million. They look at that and they're like, "Come on, dude! Like what players do you collect? Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Bryce Harper, And you just basically rattle off like everybody who's super expensive. Well, they're not. We're like you're replacing a Marquez Wilson. So why would you get a Luka Doncic?
Because I waited 4 years.
Marquez Wilson, you're gonna get a Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
I want that. Come on, man. Come on. Like be realistic about it.
But if you put it, how many people are going to ask for everything, though?
No,
you're giving people like, I'm tempted to put.
No, I mean, but that's there. It's set up for that. Like, give me 5 teams that you collect 5 players. Like, you're setting yourself up for that. If anything, you shouldn't even put that last part. You should just look at where this person's getting their cards sent to, and just go for it. Like, if you're from Boston, I'm gonna send you a Patriots card. I'm gonna send you a Red Sox card. If you don't like it, you probably know somebody who likes those teams since you live in that area. But don't give the people
The options.
The option. The option's just like you're setting yourself up for.
But how many of you, raise your hand in the chat, would ask for something more? It's just human nature, right? It's just human nature. So if you go in with your boss and you ask for a raise, are you going to be like, you only want a quarter raise? No, you're going to shoot for $3 or $4 raise and hope that they give you 2. So if you set the bar pretty low here and
But
say,
you know what you're getting? You know what you're getting when you do that? In this situation? You're getting a door slammed in your face. You're not getting shit.
yeah, but I paid for my Jordan Crawford, my Andrew Wiggins, and my Dion Waiters.
Why
so
don't you
I'm
say
gonna have to
Marquez
pass-
Wilson?
And Marquez Wilson. I want those cards. Those are very important to me.
They're not though.
How do you know?
But they're not though.
How do you know?
Because you've had them since 2011. Has your life went on? Were you able to wake up in the morning and go about your life? Or are you just like, I'm super depressed that I didn't get my Marquez Wilson. I'm just gonna stay in bed all night, all day. I can't. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'm just saying. But if you ask people what they want, I mean, they're going to be like, I could easily make the argument, and where this is just for conversation's sake. I have an Andrew Wiggins. I could have redeemed that when that one was worth $200. Well, now Andrew Wiggins is worth $15. I mean, so I could say I want a Luka for Andrew Wiggins.
There's only one. There's only one guy. There's only one guy on there that they actually should have even made a redemption. Wiggins is the only guy who they should have made a redemption because in that product he needed to be in there. Marquez Wilson didn't need to make a redemption. Dion Waiters. Was Dion Waiters the chase in whatever product that is?
He was a top rookie. It was
never like, man, I got to get this product. I need some Dion Waiters. Jordan Crawford. Nobody cares. So like a lot of these players, maybe they should cut back the content they put in here and don't put in players they don't need to put in. Only make redemptions of players that the product will not perform if these players are not in it.
Well, I agree with you, but what if Jordan Crawford like kissed my daughter and I met him and he saved my life and I really want that card? That's valuable to me,
dude.
That's valuable to me.
I don't even know how that. What'd you just say?
The Dion Waiters. I met him at the mall. He kissed my baby, and my baby was gonna fall off the chair, and he caught her. And I have a moment with Jordan Crawford. I bought that redemption. It's valuable to me. It's priceless.
Why didn't you just get him to sign something for you?
Because I was too embarrassed.
When he was busy,
I'm not that kind of guy.
When he was busy kissing babies and saving lives.
Well, because he's busy moving on to the next life.
He had to go save another life?
I'm just saying. So
Okay.
it's a tricky thing. I don't know how they fix it.
I think
the only thing the essence of the court case that I saw, and I'm not picking on any manufacturer here. They all have their problems with redemptions, and a lot of them honestly don't want to hold your cards. They want to ship the cards out to you. I think one of the reasons why it's gotten worse is the fact that they're so busy. They're making so many products because the industry is booming. They should have hired some people, and that's the problem. I think we all should hire more people.
I think everybody needs. I think we need to come out with products that are one auto a box. We need to come out with where we limit the amount of autos, so they sit down and they can actually have Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield at the rookie premiere sign all their on-card autos and all their stickers in one sitting, so they don't have to like go down and chase these guys again. Everybody in these products want more, and more. Well, this is what happens when you want more. They can't deliver what you want.
But you're making that sound like it's a consumer's problem. That Panini shouldn't make as much product, or Topps shouldn't make as much product then if they can't.
Panini is basically doing what the consumers want. Panini indirectly actually works for the consumers. They hear what the consumers want. You want more relics. You want more primes. If you want more relics and you want more prime relics, you're going to get more game event and rookie premier jerseys.
Right. But
if you want more autos, you're going to get redemptions.
But do we want more autos? Do we want more autos?
I don't know. I don't think Panini is basically looking at it going, you know what? We need to make the job harder for ourselves.
Well, and that's the thing I was going to mention. A lot of these, the license for football and basketball and baseball is a lot of money compared to how much money they make. It's a very small margin business, even for them. There are some releases that they obviously make a lot more money on than others, but they have to make X amount of product to be able to pay their bills. And I think that gets them in a position where, at the rookie premiere, they had Saquon sign 5,000 autos or whatnot. Well, those 5,000 autos only lasted through a quarter of the year. They're gone. So they have to try to contact Saquon now and try to get him to sign for limited and flawless and NT and all this stuff. They have to try to contact him, hunt him down. If he's busy, then they're not going to get him.
There needs to be less releases.
Well, yeah, that's the obvious one.
There needs to be less releases. There needs to be less autograph and relic content in each release.
Or I think the court case is in terms of the redemption period. The guy's not trying to get redemptions to stop. The guy is trying, and don't quote me on this. This is just what I kind of gathered from the podcast I listened to, which is a great, it's an interesting podcast over at Sports Card Radio to kind of look into, is the fact that they say they will offer a replacement in 4 to 8 months. I think that they need to be more proactive with their customers in 4 or 8 months, or have a robust back-end system that can manually offer that. So if you're waiting for a Dion Waiters, they have 10 options for you, and that's it. They have 10 options for you for their stock. You select that, and you're done. Like, there needs to be more, maybe customer service.
But I think if you do that, people are going to be like, well, I value X player more than what they're willing to give me, and I don't want any of these players. Like, you're never going to be able to satisfy everybody with a system like that in place.
Yeah.
So I think what you do is that you do away with redemptions and you put less content in the releases. You make less of the release. You put less content in. You sell less. Now,
that's going to require some extreme planning.
What's also going to require, and what's going to happen is everything's going to be, there's going to be less of everything. So the price is going to go up. If the demand is still there, the price is going to go up. So you may have a one auto to box, say of Optic Football has one auto in it, like it does now. That may be a $300 box. And when you get an auto, that theoretically, since it is limited and they don't have as many of them, that auto should go for more.
Okay.
On the secondary
I get what you're saying, but let's throw this into an idea here. Okay, so let's say let's fast forward to 2019 football. Let's just say theoretically that Kyler Murray is the only guy worth collecting. Only guy. There's only one guy.
You mean
everybody, like a 2013 season, like
Luka Doncic right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
exactly what we're going through right now.
They pre-sell limited 6 months in advance, and Kyler Murray just never turns in his autos. Never turns them in. They try to hunt him down. Do they just cancel the product?
No, and that is where I think the only time you should make a redemption is for a player who is either going to make or break the release.
Well, I think they try to do that.
No, I think they include players like limited.
They used to.
Like Kerryon Johnson, Kiki QT have been redemptions on it. Kerryon Johnson has been redemptions in almost probably more than 3/4 of the products this year.
But if you pull out Kerryon Johnson, then you have Lions fans.
But you don't have a redemption that you have to go back and work and fill and make sure he gets him to sign and then get him out to people and then remember. Like, you just add so much work to the whole operation. And it's not like Kerryon Johnson is going to be the guy that's going to determine somebody from buying a box or buying a pack. You have that limited. The only thing it'll really hurt is websites like us that are selling team style, where the Lions, we know, are not represented now because Kerryon Johnson was going to be a redemption, but they pulled it out. And they released it without Kerryon Johnson.
I get your point, but I think there's too many moving parts on like if you put out a product without. So you're saying if it was Kyler Murray, then you put in a redemption.
Kyler Murray, Saquon Barkley, Baker Mayfield, any of the rookie quarterbacks, you need to have them in the product.
I would go along with that theory as long as they have to give themselves a cutoff. So if limited's coming out in July, let's just say, or whatever product's coming out in July, June they need to say there's no carryover in here.
Or how about this? How about before a product is released, they have a maximum amount of redemptions that could be in that product. They have three players that can be redemptions in every product. And they're like, okay, if we're going to pick the top 3 guys, and there's 6 guys who didn't get the autos back, but we're going to pick the 3 of them, and those other 3 guys are not going to be in a release. Now, what you do is those 3 players that didn't get their cards back, they're still on the hook. They still owe those cards. They still owe that content. You basically pull all that content together and you make another release that has all those, like kind of a Chronicles honors type of deal, where it's all those cards that were never inserted into the product run, and you do it by sport.
Yeah, that's kind of like honors, right?
Kind of like honors.
Yeah.
But you do it. But you can kind of sell it like Chronicles, where it's like it's all the guys who are redemptions in the 2018 year that didn't get the cards back. They're going to be in this product.
Yeah, I could see that. But I think being transparent and letting people know, and Ben mentioned before that we have to, in efforts of transparency, how I said that I want, redemptions to be listed on the checklist. He's saying that nobody will buy the product for that reason. I don't know. I see where he's coming from, that people will just wait. They'll wait. But I think we got to be transparent with the public. I think that
at what point do you want them to release what players are going to be redemptions?
A week before.
A week, like they can't even get a checklist out.
I know.
So they can't get a checklist out, but you want them to get the redemptions out.
Well, that would go along with the checklist.
And they do know. I mean, they know a couple weeks in advance that so-and-so didn't get their cards back, and they're already packed out.
But my thing is if these products are all good like they've been, then who cares is the redemption, is the checklist going to make people buy less product? Like, I don't understand why the checklist isn't out.
I think that's always been the argument with why manufacturers don't release a checklist, because they don't want people to be like, ooh, this checklist doesn't look good, I'm not into it.
Right, I get that theory, but if football, we already know who's in there.
Yeah, but we're in a situation with football that it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. Today, Plates and Patches came out. Plates and Patches is basically, it is what it is. It's a product that I like, but it is what it is. It's a $100 box retail.
It's like $130.
Original price is $100. It's a $100 retail box. It's up to like $130 now on the secondary market.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is insane.
Ooh, that NT design though.
Well, I mean, Ben asked, transparency is wanted by us, but please explain to me what their motivation in doing so would be. They really probably don't, but to be fair, the product's already sold out 99% of the time nowadays, months and months before, through the distributor channels and through us. So I guess a customer service like kind of type thing, where it would be like, hey, this guy's a redemption. This guy's not a redemption. This guy's not a redemption. I mean, it's crazy. If you think about any other, like, if you're buying the brand new iPhone or you're buying a brand new iPad, and the app that they said was going to be on the iPad is 6 months out, but you bought it expecting to have that app on there, you'd be pissed. You'd call up Apple. You'd call up PC or whatever because they're not being transparent.
I like mine. I like where you can basically pick 3 players to be redemptions, and everybody else gets pushed to another product.
I see what you're saying, Ben, but I guess I just try to think that Panini's trying to maybe help everybody out by saying what cards are redemptions, but yeah, it'll probably never happen. Checklist is first.
But you can know who's going to be a redemption go on YouTube, see all the hundreds of thousands of breaks. You'll know within a couple hours of the release who's a redemption.
Right. Exactly.
And then you can literally find that out before your local hobby shop even opens up.
That's true. Well, back in the day, if you look at old checklists, like, playoff, before Panini came around, Contenders used to have a checklist with EXCH on the checklist, so they would release redemptions back then. But for whatever reason now, because they pump out so many products, they don't put redemptions on the checklist or don't even have a checklist. So, but we're running out of time. We got plates and patches coming up. We ran a little long on the show, but I do have a giveaway, guys. I'm actually going to piggyback out off of an idea that we've done this before, but we haven't done it in years. And Ty for Breaker Culture was doing the same thing, so I said, hey, I'm going to steal this idea. So leave us a review on iTunes, and we're going to give away 3 boxes of Elite Extra Edition. It could be good, bad, medium. I mean, we hope you give a good review, but we're going to take those pool of names. It's going to run for 2 weeks, so leave a positive, hopefully a positive. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Just say some good things.
Just say something.
Just say some good things about me.
Give us a review on iTunes under the podcast section. Write a little review. Say Dan sucks, Rams suck, or whatever. Leave that review, and we'll take those names, and in 2 weeks on episode 82, we will random off these boxes to those names of people that gave us reviews. So, it doesn't take too long to go on iTunes and fill that out. You can do it from your phone. If you have an Android, I'm sorry. You could get a big boy phone, get an iPhone, and leave a review, or borrow your friend's phone. And we'll enter those names in, and we'll give away 3 boxes of Elite Extra Edition. They have 10 hits in here. Joey Bard, Casey Mize, Vladimir Guerrero's in here. Lots of fun stuff, lots of great value. So just for leaving a review. So, yep, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for joining in on episode number 80. I think it was a fun show. We've got plates and patches throughout the day. We've got some shiny buckets today. We've got flawless baseball, so lots of fun stuff on the schedule. And Mojo Rare Numbers. We've got 2 cases of that today as well.
You can always use discount code Mojo Break for 10% off of PYT.
Yep, Mojo Break for 10% off on PYTs. Doesn't work on randoms, but you can use it for PYT. So, all right, guys.
And that's it. Thanks for watching this episode. Visit Mojo Break in your break spot, and we will see you next time on